In this lesson, we're going to cover solving linear equations and rewriting equations and formulas. Number one is a two-step equation. We're going to start by subtracting 9 on both sides. That will give us 3/7 x equals 6. To undo times 3/7, we are going to multiply both sides by 7/3. Instead of dividing by a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. On the left side, that'll cancel it out. It'll end up being 21 over 21, which is 1. So we have 1x. And on the right side, multiply the 6 times the 7 to get 42. Then divide by 3, and our answer is 14. In number 2, we need to get all of the n's on the same side and all of the numbers on the other. And I like to not have negatives if I don't have to. So I could subtract 5n on both sides, or I could subtract 7n on both sides. It does not matter, except this way I'm going to end up with a positive 2n instead of having a negative 2n on the left side. Then we're going to add 9 to both sides. So this is 20 equals 2n. Oops, my equal sign is kind of messy. 2 times n, we divide both sides by 2, and we get n equals 10. Okay, in the next one, we are going to have to do some distribution before we do anything else. So we're going to distribute the 4 to get 12x minus 20, distribute the negative 2 to get positive 2x minus 16. Now it's just like number 2. So pause the video, finish this one on your own. So we subtracted 2x on both sides, then I added 20 on both sides. I have 10x equals 4. We divide both sides by 10, and I have 4/10. But we're not going to leave our answer as 4/10. Now, you may be able to take 2/10 and easily simplify that to 2/5 in your head, but I wanted to show you how you would do that on the graphing calculator, which you have one of these on your computer. You would type in 4 divided by 10, math button, enter, enter. Math button, that first option is to fraction, enter again, and it is the fraction 2/5. So your graphing calculator will simplify those fractions for you. In number 4, we need to get rid of the fractions. We could do this problem without getting rid of the fractions, but it'd be a lot more difficult. I want you to think about these denominators, 3, 4, and 6. What number? We want the least common multiple. So we want the smallest number that is a multiple of all of them. That would be 12. I'm going to multiply everything in this equation by 12. So I'm going to do this thing times 12, this thing times 12, this thing times 12, and this thing times 12. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. That would give me 4x. 1/4 times 12 is the same as 12 divided by 4, which is 3. 12x. And negative, so I know it's going to be negative, 12 divided by 6 is 2. By multiplying everything by 12, we got rid of the fractions. We killed the fractions, and now we have just a normal equation. So pause the video, finish this one on your own. There you go. X equals 5/8. In A1.4, we are rewriting equations and formulas. This is just rearranging. So it's using those skills of adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing to get a specific letter on a side by itself. So in this one, I want to get x by itself. Now notice it is asking us to solve the equation for x, which is a little bit weird because we normally solve it for y. That means we want to get x by itself. So we want to get everything away from the x. We want to add 9y to both sides. So 6x equals, can we combine 9 and 9y? No, we cannot. We want to get x completely by itself, so divide everything by 6, and our answer would be x equals 9/6 simplifies to 3/2 plus 3/2. Now, the other thing that you can do when you have it at this step, 6x equals 9y plus 9. If I'm dividing the left side by 6, I can divide the entire right side by 6. So then my answer would be x equals 9y plus 9 over 6. The only problem is that's not simplified, and some math teachers would say that you could factor 3 out of all 3 of those terms to make your final answer 3y plus 3 over 2. That's just kind of a picky thing, but that's why I prefer to divide both things by 6 so that it just works out nicer. Okay, solve the equation for y. We're actually going to do number 3 together first. We want to get y by itself, and y is inside that term. So I want to get rid of that x on the left side. So I have xy equals 1 minus x. Then I need to get that y by itself, so I'm going to divide everything by x. Y is going to equal 1 over x minus x divided by x is 1. Because I divided everything by x, I was able to simplify that and make it look nicer. I want you to try number 2 on your own. This is just a generic, make it look like y equals mx plus b, get y by itself. So give this one a try on your own. One thing you need to notice is when you subtract 7x on both sides, this is a negative 3y. So don't lose that negative. That is a negative 3y. So now we need to divide everything by negative 3. Y equals negative 7 divided by negative 3 is positive 7/3 x. And positive 8 divided by negative 3 is negative 8/3. And yes, crazy fractions decimals are okay with this. Okay, here's some formulas that we need to rearrange. We're solving this first one for w, and I think this one is fairly easy. Let's do this really quick. We want to get w by itself, so subtract 2l on both sides. So p minus 2l equals 2w. Then on these type, I am okay with you dividing the entire side by 2. So our answer here is w equals p minus 2l over w. Number 5, we want to get h by itself. Now here's the nice thing. This is all multiplication in here. Pi times r squared times h. The first thing I'm going to deal with is this 1/3. To get rid of 1/3, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. So we have 3v equals pi r squared h. That's all multiplication in there. So you just have to divide out the things that you don't want to keep on that side. And we have h equals 3v over pi r squared. Okay, let's do number 7 together. We want to get b2 by itself. This is, I think, the area of a trapezoid. First thing we need to do is get rid of the 1/2 and get rid of the h. So to get rid of the 1/2, we multiply both sides by 2. So we have 2a equals b1 plus b2 times h. Then get rid of the h on this side. Divide both sides by h. So we have 2a over h equals b1 plus b2. At this point, that b1 plus b2 are by themselves, so we no longer need the parentheses, which is nice that we can take those parentheses out. Oops, I erased too much. That is a b1. We want b2 by itself, so we subtract b1 on both sides, and our final answer is b2 equals 2a over h minus b1. Number 8 is very similar to number 5. I want you to give 8 a try on your own. Pause the video, give it a try. So to get rid of the 1/4, we multiply both sides by 4. That gives us the 4a equals s squared times the square root of 3. We want to get s squared by itself, so divide by the square root of 3. Now, technically, this answer is bad because we're not supposed to have square roots on the bottom, but we haven't even gotten to that yet. So for now, I'm going to say that one's fine. Okay, last 2 examples. solve the equation for y, then substitute in the value of x and solve. So step 1, solve the equation for y. You have to get that part done before you do the next step. So I know you could just plug that 1 in and solve, but they really want you to get the equation written as y equals before you do the next step. So why don't you do that step on your own? Pause the video and get this to be y equals whatever on your own. Okay, I'll admit this answer is not super pretty, but then step 2 is to substitute the value of x into the equation and solve. So now we're going to plug that x equals 1 in right there. And honestly, I would do this in your calculator. So 5/7, I'm going to put that parentheses 5 divided by 7 close parentheses times 1 minus parentheses 12 divided by 7. My answer is -1. So y equals -1. I want you to try number 10 completely on your own. First, get y equals blah, 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 blah. Then plug the 20 in to get your second part of your answer. Okay, add 55 to both sides and then divide everything by 3. And I did check 55/3. That is as simple as that gets. Now when we're going to plug 20 in, I would do parentheses, -1 divided by 3, close your parentheses, times 20, and you can put that 20 in parentheses as well if you want to, plus parentheses 55 divided by 3, close my parentheses, and I want that as a fraction. I'm just going to change that to a fraction. Math, enter, enter. We've got the ability to change that into a fraction easily, so let's do it. Our answer is 35/3. So y equals, I'm going to change my color, 35/3. All right, your assignment for this lesson is also on EdSite, just like yesterday. So go into EdSite and look for the A1.3, is it A1.3 and 1.4? A1.3 to A1.4 assignment. It'll have like a parentheses algebra 2 right at the front of it.